wife panicked and begged for forgiveness when I asked for a divorce, but she'll have to face the consequences. Her reaction was so unexpected, it left me in shock. After discovering that my wife had been cheating on me, I decided to ask for a divorce, expecting that she would agree to go our separate ways. However, to my surprise, she reacted in a completely unexpected way. Instead of accepting the separation, she completely lost it, crying, begging for forgiveness, and asking for a second chance. This left me utterly confused about her intentions and what she's really trying to accomplish with this behavior. So now, I'm seriously confused. I've been reading a lot of posts on these forums lately, but I'm still feeling kind of numb. I found out my, now ex-wife was cheating on me about 7 months ago. I went through all the pain, the denial, the heartache, and even attempted reconciliation. I was deeply depressed for a long time. I never confronted her directly, but I was a complete mess. Did she know I knew? She just didn't seem to care, or at least that's what I assumed. About 2 or 3 months ago, I hit a wall. I was done with her, done with the marriage. I just didn't care anymore. I completely disconnected from the relationship and started preparing myself mentally for divorce and the new life ahead. I avoided her as much as I could. I stayed out of the house when she was home. I didn't engage in conversations. When she asked me something, my responses were limited to yes, no, maybe, or I don't know. I even left the divorce attorney bills out in the open. She had to know I had checked out and was getting ready to leave. Even the kids asked me about it. They could clearly see what was happening. I'd even given them the classic speech, "We both love you. This isn't your fault. Sometimes adults just can't stay together," and so on. My wife was in the room when I said all that to the kids. She didn't comment or object. I took her silence as agreement. Anyway, a few days ago, I ran into a girl I used to know back in school, before I even met my wife. There had always been a spark between us. Some chemistry. There was always this underlying tension, with light flirting and subtle touches, but we never acted on it. Let's call her Monica, because she kind of reminds me of Monica Bellucci. Monica and her family moved away before I ever had the guts to do anything about it. I regretted that for a long time. But I was young, shy, and kind of dumb. I hadn't thought about Monica in years, hadn't seen her since forever. But the moment we met again, the chemistry was instant and undeniable. Even stronger than I remembered. Conversation flowed effortlessly. She asked me out. I explained my situation with my soon-to-be ex. I told her I wanted to be officially separated before I started dating again. I wasn't going to cheat. Monica respected that. She gave me her number and told me to call her when things were settled. She told me she'd never married and was genuinely excited to reconnect. I was even more excited. That encounter gave me the push I needed to finally confront my wife and begin the separation and divorce process. I was honestly happy when I got home and sat down, waiting for my wife to come in. I was even smiling like an idiot when I asked her to sit down because we needed to talk. I told her I had known about the affair for a long time, and that I had assumed she knew that I knew, especially since I'd emotionally checked out over the last 3 months. She didn't seem to care that I no longer cared. So, I told her I wanted to start dating and move on with my life. I ended with, "Given everything that's happened, I think it's time we get a divorce, don't you?" Her reaction was nothing like I expected. She started crying, and not just regular crying. It was this deep, gut-wrenching, soul-shattering sob that I'd never heard before. She started apologizing, begging for a second chance, claiming the affair meant nothing. That we could fix things with therapy. That we could work through it. I was honestly stunned. I thought she'd be relieved. I even told her she could be with that guy freely now, without guilt. Obviously, he meant more to her than her family, otherwise, why cheat in the first place? She had to know this would destroy us. She couldn't really be that clueless, could she? I told her that if she truly believed in fixing our family or our marriage, the time to do that was 7 months ago, before she started the affair. Now, it's too late. The relationship is broken beyond repair. I never thought we had major issues in our marriage. She never talked to me about any problems. I'm not a mind reader. How was I supposed to fix something I didn't know was wrong? If she started an affair, she clearly believed something was missing or broken. So broken that she thought cheating was the solution? So absent that she was willing to risk our kids growing up in a fractured home? If not, then why do it? I calmly and clearly explained that there was no way to erase the last 7 months. No way to undo the pain and emotional damage she inflicted on me. The pain was so deep that I'd become numb. Or maybe it's worse, I might actually hate her. I'm just being civil now for the sake of our kids, and so we can co-parent peacefully moving forward. I told her I didn't believe she had ever truly cared about me, because no one who genuinely cares, even a little, would ever put someone they love through that kind of pain. You don't cheat on someone you care about like that. Her telling me she loves me means nothing now. It carries zero weight, because her actions prove the opposite. At that point, she became completely incoherent. I couldn't make out a single word she was saying. It was just a confusing mess of sobs and fragmented thoughts. In the end, I had to call her sister, because honestly, I wasn't going to be the one to take care of her. Her sister came over, and after I explained what had happened, she took her away. The moment they left, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief. It was like I could finally breathe for the first time in 7 months. I don't even know what I'm looking for by posting this. She had to have known this was coming. She had to have seen it coming. Maybe deep down, she even wanted it? She can't possibly be so naive as to think that her behavior, those choices, would lead to anything other than divorce and a broken family, right? She's beautiful. She's smart. Our marriage was great until she started the affair. I've accepted that life changes. I've moved past that. And now, suddenly, she's pretending to love me? Pretending she wants to stay married and keep the family together? What's her motivation for this dramatic breakdown now? What could she possibly gain from it? I mean, there's no way she seriously thinks reconciliation is on the table at this point, right? It must be some kind of strategy. I just don't get what it is. I have solid evidence of her affair. I live in a European country where that would mean she gets no alimony or support. Could that be the reason? Is she afraid I'll tell the truth? Maybe. Does she want me to feel sympathy so I don't tell people what she did? Her affair partner is married too, so maybe she's afraid I'll expose them to his wife? I honestly don't know. I just can't make sense of it. Either way, I just needed to get this all out. I hoped that writing it down would bring me some clarity, but it didn't. I'm just as confused now as I was when I started venting. Update: my cheating ex-wife is messing with my head? First of all, thank you to everyone who reached out. The support has been overwhelming in more ways than one. I haven't had the chance to reply to everyone, but I tried to read every single message. I made my original post 3 days after the conversation with my ex-wife, and I could barely sleep during that time. I actually passed out at my desk while reading comments. When I woke up the next day, I had a very distinct keyboard imprint on my face and a much clearer head. So I decided to make some lists. Pros and cons bullet points. Anything to help me organize my thoughts. I put a bunch of papers up on the wall, each with a title. Our kids? How to act around my wife. My marriage? Monica? Questions to ask my wife? Etc. The final document is way too long to type out here, but I'll just cover the main points. My goal was to identify the core principles I want to live by moving forward and figure out what matters most from here on out. Then I went through each topic and asked myself, can I realistically achieve something meaningful here? And what would a meaningful outcome look like? Kids. They're my number one priority. I'm going to ramp up my efforts to help them through this. More individual therapy, family therapy, outings, quality time, anything to create new, joyful memories. I'm involving my extended family as well, to surround them with love and support as we navigate this. I'll speak with their teachers, coaches, and anyone involved in their lives. I want their support system to be immediate and solid. I got tested for STDs, and I also scheduled a DNA test for the kids. Even thinking that they might not be mine makes me sick, but I have to know. For their sake. If they aren't mine, there might be important medical history they need to know. What if they want to find their biological father someday? How would they see me if I didn't do this now and left them in the dark? I really hope they're mine, and I'll be stressed out until I get the results. After speaking one-on-one with their therapists, we sat down with the kids and gently explained everything. We encouraged them to ask anything they wanted. I repeated over and over again that they can come to me with anything. I'm their father. I love them more than anything in this world, and I'll always be there for them, no matter what. Marriage. I've come to the conclusion that I can never trust my wife again. And without trust, there is no relationship. I've also come to realize that I no longer love my wife. I don't love the person she's become. My love for her used to be a huge part of me, but the affair killed that. It completely changed the way I see her. Maybe, theoretically, I could learn to love her again, but to do that, I'd have to want to. And honestly, I don't. It's better to end this and move on with our lives. I don't want this marriage anymore. I don't want this relationship. I don't want her. The part of me that once loved her, the part that used to feel endless joy and comfort at just the thought of her, now only feels dread and pain. Even thinking about her right now causes me actual discomfort. I believe divorce is inevitable, and I want it finalized as quickly as possible. About Monica, I've had a lot of conversations with her. I had some concerns, based on the feedback I received here on Reddit. Maybe getting into a new relationship isn't a good idea right now? I also didn't want to drag her into my mess. And let's be honest, my life is a total mess at the moment. She disagreed. She said life is messy, and it's better to see how we handle things together while dating. I found out why she never got married. Turns out she was actually engaged. Her fiancé passed away unexpectedly in a work accident nearly 5 years ago. It devastated her. And although she's been on a few dates since then, she just couldn't connect with anyone. From her point of view, life is short, and you have to take risks when a real opportunity comes along. I explained that I don't want to start anything until the divorce is finalized. I don't want to be unfaithful while still technically married. She understood and respects that. I also brought up how it might look if we suddenly appeared in public together. It would be easy for people to paint her as a homewrecker. I don't want that, and she agreed. So we've decided to wait a while after the divorce is official before doing anything. I feel incredibly drawn to Monica. Just that phone call felt almost like an emotional affair to me. So I won't contact her again until the legal separation is complete. We agreed that I would sort out my affairs and reach out to her when I'm ready, and then we'd see where things go from there. When it came time to plan the meeting with my wife, I wrote down a few principles about the kind of man I want to be. I would do everything I could to behave like that man, the man I used to be before all of this happened. I decided I needed to stay calm, avoid being cruel, and keep in mind that the goal of the conversation was to move forward with our lives. The goal was to co-parent as well as we possibly could for the sake of our children. Still, I prepared a list of questions, mainly to try and understand her mindset during the affair. I also wanted to know what she thought about the future. I wouldn't be manipulative. I wasn't going to give her false hope of reconciliation just to gain a better postnuptial agreement or a favorable divorce outcome. I decided to act as fairly as possible, split all our assets evenly, go for 50-50 custody. Even though she treated me terribly, I refused to let her become my standard. I will act in a way I can stand behind today, tomorrow, and 20 years from now. I hate her for what she did to me, for what she did to us, to our kids. But I still love the memories of the good times we had while they lasted. And I love the children we brought into this world and raised together. From now on, I'll try to remember her in that light, not for the betrayal. I can't carry hatred in my heart forever. So, eventually, I need to forgive her so I can truly move on. Until she cheated on me, I thought we had a great marriage. We made love every day. We spent a lot of quality time together, rarely argued, and sacrificed for each other willingly. I used to be completely open with her until I discovered her betrayal. I believed she was just as open with me, but now her actions have proven otherwise. Then Saturday came, and I went to see her. Her sister had warned me that she wasn't doing well. She wasn't wrong, my ex-wife looked absolutely terrible. Red eyes, puffy face, messy hair. She looked much smaller than I remembered, like she had shrunk in on herself. I doubt she's eaten or slept much this week. We all sat down, and my wife was trembling almost uncontrollably. I felt surprisingly calm. I could feel her pain, but not as a loving spouse would. It felt more like I was watching an actor in a film I cared about. I don't really know how to explain it, but that moment confirmed that I probably don't love her anymore. I just sat quietly and waited for her to collect herself enough to speak. She tried several times but kept breaking down into tears. Watching her, it was clearly not an act. I've seen her cry many times before, but never like this. Sure, people can fake tears, but I doubt anyone can fake the look of someone who's been crying nonstop for a week, mixed with tortured sobs and giant mucus bubbles. When she finally started talking, it was like a dam broke. She apologized every other word. Surprisingly, she didn't try to justify her actions or shift the blame to me. Her sister was crying too, and occasionally scolding her. It also became clear that her sister had warned her that this would happen. Apparently, this is how her own relationship ended a year ago. I had no idea. Her sister's betrayal caused what you might call a midlife crisis in my wife. She started thinking a lot about infidelity. In the end, it seems like she acted the way she did because she developed an obsession with the other guy and couldn't control her emotions. She never thought I'd find out. She never thought anyone would get hurt. It was a completely selfish act. According to her, she was actually very happy in our marriage. She convinced herself she deserved this adventure and even believed that if I truly knew how happy she was at the time, I'd support her choice. She genuinely thought the affair would pass and that we would all live happily ever after again. She had no idea that I had found out. Only when I began to pull away did she start questioning what was going on. I learned that she had ended things with the affair partner, about a month and a half ago. The excitement had started to fade. She handed me her phone so I could check it, and I saw that she had blocked him. When I unblocked him, messages dated from a month and a half ago started pouring in. She had been trying to re-engage me in our marriage, but I hadn't shown any interest in having anything to do with her. Until I sat her down, she was convinced we could somehow work things out and come out stronger than ever. But when she looked into my eyes as I confronted her, she realized this was likely the end of the road. The reality of it all hit her like a ton of bricks. I tried to ask her a few questions, mainly, what was going through her mind that made her believe she had the right to do this to us? To our children? At its core, it was nothing but pure selfishness on her part. And I came to realize, as many of you pointed out, that I'll never get the answers I'm looking for because they don't exist. There's no acceptable reason for betrayal, and so I'll never get an acceptable answer. Still, in an unexpected way, I found a certain closure. I was able to express to her just how deeply she hurt me, the overwhelming pain she caused. I made her acknowledge that she alone was responsible for the destruction of our marriage, and for the fact that our children would now grow up in a broken home. That gave me a strange sense of peace. She had apparently researched everything about rebuilding a marriage after infidelity. She prepared a full timeline and a detailed written confession, signed and ready for me. I didn't read any of it, I just handed it all over to my lawyer. She begged over and over for a second chance. She said she would do anything. I told her I didn't believe her. Honestly, I didn't believe a single word she said. I simply don't trust her. She asked what she could do to fix this. I told her she's the one who broke it. If she doesn't know how to fix it, how can she expect me to have a solution? I asked her, if you were in my place, what would you say? Would you even have an answer? Those questions went back and forth for a while. In the end, she admitted that if the roles were reversed, she probably wouldn't forgive either. I told her I had taken an STD test and that I would also be doing DNA tests with the kids. She completely broke down for about 20 minutes when she heard that. She insisted that this was the only time she had ever cheated or done anything out of line. Again, after a lot of back and forth, she agreed that I had no reason to believe her and that if she were in my position, she'd probably do the same. I asked her if the AP's wife knew. She didn't. She agreed that the AP's wife deserved to know. I asked her whether she should be the one to tell her or if I should. She asked me if I would consider reconciliation or couples therapy if she came clean. I told her no. But that it might help her earn back just a sliver of my respect. She promised to tell the AP's wife and everyone else. Again, I said I honestly didn't believe her. She swore she would never be with anyone else again and that she would never stop trying to win me back. Even if it took the rest of her life. I didn't believe her, but I didn't say anything. By then, it was all becoming redundant. She offered me a one-sided open marriage, full access to all her communications, and to be available to me 24/7. I told her that I had spoken with Monica and that I was waiting because I didn't want to be unfaithful. I don't want to be in an open relationship. Doing that would hurt her, and I don't want to hurt anyone the way she hurt me. I also don't want to be her jailer. Constantly checking her phone and being suspicious, that's not a foundation for a healthy relationship. I'm also not interested in intimacy without deeper connection. Mechanical sex means nothing to me. If I just need physical release, I can take care of that myself. I don't need a partner for that. At that point, we were all exhausted. We had been there for over 5 hours. My wife had been crying nonstop, from bad to absolutely horrible, for nearly the entire time. We weren't going to get any further. It was over. I told her very clearly. The love I used to feel for her was dead. I no longer recognized the person she had become. Our family had died because of her. And I was moving forward with the divorce. I told her she couldn't undo what she did. The only way to prevent this outcome would have been to not start the affair 7 months ago. I didn't want our marriage back. I didn't want her back. I didn't want any more pain. I suggested we do a period of no contact to gain some distance and perspective. I told her I had already filed the papers. My decision was final. We could start family therapy for the sake of co-parenting. But beyond that, I didn't even want to see her again. It was incredibly painful to say those things to her. She was sobbing uncontrollably, whispering over and over, "No, no, no, please don't, please don't." When I stood up to leave, she had a massive nosebleed, almost explosive, and tried to reach out for me, but passed out. I managed to catch her before she hit the ground. I took her and her sister to the emergency room and stayed there until I knew she was going to be okay. Last night and today, my ex-wife has been telling everyone what she did. The AP's wife called me this morning to confirm if what my wife told her was true. I sent her copies of some of the evidence. I just found out that she kicked her husband out of the house. She wants to meet to go over more of the evidence. She had suspected something for a while but never had solid proof. I suggested we meet tomorrow to talk. She also asked if we could talk on the phone, but I'm honestly not sure I can handle that right now. I told her maybe we could talk later. I'll freely admit I feel like crap. I haven't been able to sleep. Cracks are forming in my resolve. I know I need to stay strong, but it's really hard. Why do I feel so guilty? Why do I feel like I'm the one responsible for trying to fix this? We can lie to ourselves for a while, but that probably won't work in the long run. Some of her friends and relatives have been calling me, yelling at me, actually saying I should give her a second chance. But in my mind, I keep thinking, why drag out the pain? It's better to end it now so we can begin to heal and build new lives. So that's it. Nothing dramatic. No revenge. No resolution. No peace. No happy ending, just more pain for all of us. My mind is in a very dark place right now. I honestly don't know what to do.
Reddit Relics comment. Hey everyone, what did you think of this story? It's truly incredible how pain and betrayal can push someone into a desperate search for answers and closure. This OP's journey shows just how emotionally complex dealing with infidelity can be, and the deep impact it can have on a person's life. Facing the truth, seeking closure, and making tough decisions is never easy. It's a powerful reminder of how important honesty and communication are in any relationship. Let us know in the comments what you think about this situation and how you would have handled it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content. And for more stories and discussions, check out our podcast. The link is in the description. See you next time.